Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're an electric guitar player, you're probably well versed with one of these, the guitar pick, which will serve you very well with maybe 95% of anything that might come your way as a mainly pick-based electric guitar player. And yet there's always that chord or the arpeggio that you know you should be playing fingerstyle or using the fingers of the right hand. And this kind of stuff catches a lot of guitar players unprepared. And so today I want to show you 5 very simple patterns for the right hand that you should practice to be able to pretty much play and navigate through anything you might run into as a mainly pick-based electric guitar player. Now, there are styles of music such as flamenco, which is one of my favorite, and classical music, bluegrass, country, jazz. Some of these, the intricacies of the right hand have actually surpassed, I think, the ones of the left. And I won't pretend that this video will get you ready for that. Now, that's a deeper well that we want to get into. But for everything else, I think these 5 patterns will do wonders for your technique, so here they are. As luck would have it, as I was setting up to record this video, I cut my finger deep enough that it was bleeding profusely, so I had to put a band-aid on it, but I think I'll still be able to play the patterns for you, and the show must go on. So here's the chord that we'll be using to demonstrate the patterns. It's a very simple chord progression. Is the harmonization of the C major scale into 7th chords, and here they are on the screen: C major 7th, D minor 7th, E minor 7th, F major 7th, G 7th, A minor 7th, B minor 7th flat 5, and C major 7th again. The first pattern is what I just played for you basically, so it's an ascending pattern from the lowest to the highest string, and because we're only using the middle 4 strings, we have the thumb on the 5th string, the index finger on the 4th, middle finger on the 3rd, and the ring finger on the 2nd. And all we do is play them in sequence for each of the chords, like this. Start with a slow tempo, so that you can do all the chord changes and the notes perfectly. When you get to the top chord, work your way back down. You might find some of these chord changes on the way back to be a bit more difficult, but that's fine. Take your time, aim for a good, beautiful sound, steady tempo, and here it is for you from close-up. Pattern number 2 is quite similar, but it kind of moves in the opposite direction. We'll still start with the thumb, but the next 3 notes will go from the top string towards the bottom. And so it will be 5th string, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And again, this has to be applied to every chord. Again, aim for a beautiful sound, round tone. Also the chord transition, try to avoid that slide sound, try to avoid any kind of break, so make sure it's as smooth as possible. Once you have the first 2 patterns worked out, you can combine them into a beautiful ascending and descending all at once pattern. And we start with the thumb, of course. Do the first half, which is the same as pattern 1, and then work our way back. Okay, like this. That's the sound. You might have heard this 1,000 times actually. And again, we move from one chord to the next in a very smooth way. The way we do it is we always wait until we've played the last note, we let it ring out for its duration, and then we move. This will ensure that you always play each chord for the right amount of time. Don't be tempted to rush the end of the chord. Just stay smooth and slow. Once you go faster, it will really pay off if you've practiced slowly. Now, patterns 4 and 5 are a bit more difficult, if you will, but still extremely useful, and they sound really beautiful, so they're really worth your time and trouble. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to place the chord down as always, but now I want you to play 2 notes at once. And we're going to start with the outside notes, so to speak, so 5th and 2nd string with the thumb and ring finger. Play them together like this, followed by the ones in the middle, which will play with the index and middle finger on the 4th and 3rd string, like that, outside, inside. And then we'll go through our progression, just like that. You'll find this to be a bit more difficult. You might have to adjust your wrist, and as you notice, I didn't get into the technique of the right hand, because if we start with that, then there's only truly one correct way of doing it. And for a lot of this stuff, which is actually quite simple, arpeggios, you can get away with pretty much any technique. So I suggest, if you're not too serious about fingerstyle, just do what you can. If you are very serious, then I'm afraid this video alone won't serve you to achieve that. So you might want to go deeper with the other styles of music we discussed. And finally, pattern number 5 is very similar to number 4 again, but played kind of backwards. We're going to start with the inside strings, 4th and 3rd, followed by 5th and 2nd. And this one might be a bit of a struggle for a lot of you, and that's fine. As a matter of fact, this and the previous one, you might find that they're not too hard to play on a single chord, but when you start moving around with the left hand, for some of you, this might be a struggle, and it's totally normal and it's totally fine. Go very slowly, or maybe even just start with a chord, then add another one, and then just work on those for a while. So take your time. Let me demonstrate for you pattern number 5 from close-up. A lot of these patterns, you will not find them exactly as I'm showing you, but these 5 patterns will together give you the tools to adapt to pretty much anything. As always, if you're on my Patreon, you'll be able to download all these exercises in a very handy PDF. And don't forget, we do Zoom meets and exclusive lessons. So if you would like to join, of course, you're very welcome to. But whether you're on my Patreon or not, thank you very much for being here. That means you're trying to learn new things and to improve your playing, and that's all I'm here for, really. So let me leave you with a couple extra videos you might find useful. I'll just leave it up to you to pick for us. And if you'd like to check out more links below, books and music and all kinds of cool stuff, it's all down there. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.